All right, I'm gonna do something a little different this time. I got this book called Just Listen. I just started reading it. I'm on the third chapter. I was kind of intrigued reading it to begin, so I decided I'm like, let me just read this chapter. It's called Move Yourself from Oh Fuck to Okay. So I'm gonna just read this. I got my water here because I don't typically speak for long periods of time at once, so I'm gonna just go ahead and start. Mark, I'm giddy with excitement. Jim Mazzo, CEO and chairman of Advanced Medical Optics, told me over the phone. Jim is one of those most Jim is one of the most ethical and effective leaders I know, but even from such a remarkable man, his comment was astonishing because on that day in 2007, Jim's company was in the midst of what most people would call a crisis. Without waiting to ask his board for permission, Jim had just ordered a voluntary recall of the eye solution as soon as he learned that it could contribute to serious corneal infections. I called Jim to tell him how much I admired his action, which reminded me of James Burke's quick pulling of Tylenol when several bottles were found to be contaminated with cyanide. Jim replied, "We are a great company with total transparency, a set of values, and a code of conduct that we will accept and follow. I am thrilled because I know that this is one of the most rare opportunities that will make both our company, and even better than I am excited to find out just how we will do both." And then he said something that impressed me even more. When bad things happen, if you resist the temptation to do anything that will make things worse, you will discover valuable things about your company and yourself that you would never have learned had you not taken the hit. That's sheer courage, and it paid off for AMO, which weathered the storm well and in the process enhanced its already sterling reputation as an ethical company deserving of full trust of investors and consumers. What's the difference between Jim and the business leaders who panic, lie, frantically attempt to cover up problems, or simply melt down when problems occur? He has the ability to rise above a crisis and do the right thing. That's because he's smart and ethical. And it's also because when trouble arises, he can quickly bring his initial fear response, a universal human reaction to crisis, under control. No doubt Jim starts out just as scared as anybody else when a crisis strikes, but he doesn't stay that way. Instead, his deeply held core values prevent his emotions from boiling over and causing him to do something hasty. As a result, while other people are tempted to hide or blame or lose control, he can think fast and communicate effectively. So, this next part says, it's the same chapter, but it says, get through it to yourself first. And then the next one, well, we don't gotta get to the next one yet. Getting your emotions under control isn't just a key to being a great leader like Jim, it's also the most important thing to reaching other people. Especially in times of stress or uncertainty, it's why a cool and controlled hostage negotiator can get through to someone who seems unreachable, and conversely, why a person who's crying, whining, or yelling will turn off even a calm and empathetic listener. In the chapters that follow, you'll learn lots of powerful techniques for changing another person. But one of the most powerful things you'll learn is how to be in control of your own thoughts and emotions, because most of the time that's where successful communicating starts. Mastering the art of controlling yourself will change your life, because it'll keep you from being your own worst enemy when it comes to reaching other people in stressful situations. Of course, not all personal encounters are stressful, but many are. And these are the ones that can make or break a career or relationship. What's more? Stressful encounters? What's more? Stressful encounters are the ones that you're usually less ready to handle. Making a cold call, handling an angry client, going on a tough job interview, facing a furious lover, dealing with insolent teen, all of these can affect your emotions to the point that you can't think clearly. And when that happens, you lose. So the first and most important rule for taking control in a stressful situation is this: get yourself under control first. That's why flight attendants instruct you to put your own oxygen mask on first before placing one on your child. The good news is that getting yourself under control is simpler than you think. So the next part of this chapter says speed is everything. In reality, you probably already know how to handle a tense situation intelligently. You know how to go from attack mode to emotional mode to smart mode. Unfortunately, you probably don't know how to do it fast. Instead, here's what usually happens. A few minutes after a stressful encounter, you calm down a little. Your pulse slows and you start breathing more slowly. A few minutes or hours after that, you probably gain enough self-control to start thinking about your options though. And given still more time, you start thinking, hey, there's a smart way to handle this. By then, however, it's often too late. You've already lost a sale, alienated a boss or coworker, or convicted a lover that you are bad news. Or convinced a lover that you're bad news. Or you missed the moment to make a perfect comment or great first impression. I'm not gonna lie, I need a sip of my water because these lights not doing me justice either. Low-key blind. Okay. So what's the solution? In a stressful encounter, to keep from blowing a chance to reach under the person, you need to get your thoughts and emotions under control in minutes, not hours. In short, you need to move almost instantly from your reptile to your mammal to your human brain. And if you read like earlier in the book, that'll all make sense. It's talking about the 3 layers of your brain. So, but that you gotta read the book to see that, or do your research on it. But okay, that sounds impossible, but it's not. In fact, with practice, you can do it in about 2 minutes. And when you do, you'll have the advantage over everyone else in the room because you'll be the only one who's actually thinking straight. Next part says the oh fuck to okay process. To understand how stress interferes with your power to reach people, you need to know the mental steps you go through in a time of stress or crisis. What's interesting is that even though every crisis seems different to you, your mind treats all of them in pretty much the same way. It doesn't matter what the crisis is, a fender bender, a lost contract at work, an argument with a lover, or your teenager saying, my girlfriend's pregnant. You go through these steps in more or less the same order each time you're upset. In a small crisis, you may start at a middle stage of this process. In a big one, you'll start at the bottom. I call the process oh fuck to okay. And here's how it goes. So it says the oh fuck to okay process. It says oh fuck, the reaction phase. This is a disaster. I'm screwed. What the hell just happened? I can't fix this. It's all over. And then it has under it, oh God, the release phase. Oh my God, this is a huge mess and I'm going to get stuck with cleaning it up. Shit, this stuff always happens to me. And then it has, oh geez, the recenter phase. Alright, I could fix this, but it's not gonna be fun. Now it says, oh well, the refocus phase. I'm not going to let this ruin my life, career, my day, this relationship, and this is what I need to do right now to make it better. And then it says, okay, the re-engage phase. I'm ready to fix this. It says, now here's the secret. When you become consciously aware of these stages and can mentally identify each one as it happens, you can manipulate your emotional response at each stage. As a result, you can speed shift from start to end in minutes. Some people like Jim Mazzo are probably born knowing how to do this, but if you weren't, you can learn now. Clearly, I'm not saying you can solve a crisis in 2 minutes. You can't. What I'm saying is that you can think your way through to a possible solution that quickly. When you do that, you take yourself out of panic mode and into solution mode. As a result, you'll be able to say all the right things and avoid saying the wrong ones. Now it says the power of oh fuck. One absolutely crucial element in moving your brain from panic to logic is to put your words to what you're feeling at each stage. You can do this silently if you're in public or out loud if you're alone, but either way, it's a critical process, a critical part of putting yourself in control fast. Why? Research by Matthew Lieberman at UCLA shows that when people put words to their emotions, afraid, angry, the amygdala, which is a part of your brain, that little biological. All right, bro. My fault. I'm gonna re-say that shit. To their emotions, afraid, angry, the amygdala, the little biological threat sensor that can throw the brain into animal mode, cools down almost instantly. Okay? I'm gonna reread that because I fucked up the sentence. Why? Research by Matthew Lieberman at UCLA shows that when people put words to their emotions, afraid, angry, the amygdala, the little biological threat sensor that can throw the brain into animal mode, cools down almost instantly. At the same time, another part of the brain, part of the prefrontal cortex, which is the smart area of the brain, goes to work. This part of the brain appears to inhibit emotional responses so a person can think coolly about what's happening. And that's just what you want to do. So surprisingly now is the time to lie to yourself and say, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm fine, or it's fine. It's actually the time, excuse me, I read that wrong again. So surprisingly now is not the time to lie to yourself and say, I'm cool, I'm calm, it's fine. It's actually the time to say to yourself, at least at first, oh fuck, or I'm scared as hell. Okay, the next part, the oh fuck to okay speed drill. While the simple act of naming the emotions you feel at each stage in a crisis is part of the solution, it's just the first step. That's why people who merely stand around yelling "oh fuck" in a crisis typically don't help to solve it. We all know people like that. They've taken the first step out of their animal brains, but they aren't going any further for a while. So think of the "oh fuck" as your starting point, but don't get stuck there. Don't get stuck there. Instead, once you put words to your emotions and give your frontal lobes a toehold, begin working your brain up one level at a time from panic to control. Here's how to do it. It says the oh fuck to okay speed drill. Oh fuck, the reaction phase. Do not deny that you're upset and afraid. Instead, identify your feelings and acknowledge them, silently using words to describe your feelings. I'm really scared. I'm so afraid I could lose my job over this. Say this out loud if you're alone because this physical act of exhaling as you speak will help you to calm down. If you are in a position where you can get away for a minute or two, do so. If not, do not talk to anyone else during these first few seconds. You need to panic entirely on acknowledging and working up from your anger or panic. If you're in a position to keep your eyes closed for a minute or so, do so. Oh God, the release phase. After you admit the powerful emotions you're feeling, breathe deeply and slowly through your nose with your eyes closed and let it go. Keep doing this as long as it takes to let it go. After you've released your emotions, keep breathing and relax. This will allow you to begin to regain your inner balance. Oh geez, the recenter phase. Okay. Keep breathing, and with each breath, let yourself go. From DEFCON back to DEFCON 2, 3, 4, and 5. It may help to say these words as you go through the transition. Oh God, oh fuck, oh God, oh geez, oh well. Oh well, the refocus phase. Start to think of what you can do to control the damage and make the best of the situation. Okay, the re-engage phase. If you had your eyes closed up to now, open them. Then do what you need to do. So that was like each step of the drill labeled. Um, Initially, you'll find it tough to move rapidly from one of these steps to the next. That's because it's not instinctive for your brain to move instantly and fluidly from primitive to higher brain regions. It's far more instinctive to wallow in oh fuck for minutes or hours. However, if you rehearse these steps in your mind and then use them in real life, you'll find you'll get better and you'll get better and faster each time. Give it 6 months and you'll find that in the most stressful situations, you are the one who takes charge and makes the right things happen. This skill is particularly crucial to master if you're a person who falls prey to what I call fearful aggression. This is something you sometimes see at dog shows when a harmless looking poodle, or I don't know how to pronounce that dog name, sorry, suddenly growls threateningly at a judge. The dog doesn't growl because it's a killer, it growls because it's scared senseless by the noise and the commotion and falls headlong into oh fuck mode. As a psychiatrist, I see people trapped in fearful aggression all the time. If you often spot signs of this stressful reaction in yourself, if your voice rises in stressful encounters, you sound strident or angry, and you feel the veins in your neck pulsing, then mastering the oh fuck to okay speed drill can save your job or your marriage. We know a lot of people like that. We don't even got name names. Everybody just had like 5 people minimum that came to their brain. You'll also find this skill invaluable if you are prone to tears when someone attacks you. By actively acknowledging the urge to cry, okay, this is a oh God stage, and I feel like crying at this point. Rather than trying to fight it, you'll be in the powerful position instead of you'll be in a powerful position of observing the option and deciding against it. But even if you handle stress coolly and calmly, take time to master the skill because you can handle stress even better. And often getting yourself under control even a few seconds faster can mean the difference between reaching people and losing them. The best example of coolness under fire I've ever seen involved former Secretary of State Colin Powell. In 1996, Powell was the keynote speaker at a national conference for a leading residential real estate company's top producer. By that point, he'd received tremendous popularity with the American public and was being considered as a presidential nominee. I happened to be in the audience that day, and General Powell had me, and everyone else, in the palm of his hand. He urged the audience to give back to their communities. He spoke passionately of all his gratitude for his, of his, excuse me. He urged the audience to give back to their communities. He spoke passionately of his gratitude for his family, childhood, and friends. And he exhorted us all to do well by doing good. At the end of his talk, he called for questions. Still feeling the warm glow of his inspiring words, we were totally unprepared for what happened next. General Powell, the first questioner, said, I understand that your wife once suffered from depression, had to take medication, and was even in a mental hospital. Do you want to comment on that? You could hear all 8,000 people in the auditorium gasp at the inappropriateness, not to mention the cruelty of the question. In the silence that followed, we all wondered how Powell would react to being blindsided. Edmund Muskie had thrown away his presidential hopes years earlier when a reporter asked about his wife's sanity, and he started to cry. What would Powell do under certain circumstances? Here's exactly what he did. He looked at the questioner. He paused for a moment, and then he simply responded, Excuse me, the person you love more than anyone is living in hell, and you don't do whatever you can to get her out? Do you have a problem with that, sir? I was in awe. His response was brilliant. It was calm. It was perfect. And believe me, it wasn't the first thing General Powell wanted to do. For a split second, you probably want to walk down the podium, grab the idiot who asked the question, and knock his teeth through the back of his head. Because that's what everyone else wanted to do in the first place. But he didn't give in to his anger, even though he had every right to. And he didn't cry, like Senator Muskie. Instead, he went from oh fuck to okay faster than I've seen anyone do it. As a result, he reached me even more deeply than he had with his speech. He reached everyone in the audience and touched them to their core. And I had no doubt he reached the questioner just as powerfully as a fist in the face would have without having to lift a finger to do it. That's poise under pressure. And if you can achieve that same poise, it'll get you successfully through any stressful through any stressful high stakes encounters that life hands you. And then it says, usable insight. When you go from oh fuck to okay, you go from being fixated on the way you are convinced the world should or shouldn't be, but never will be, to being ready to deal with the world the way it is. I'm gonna read that one more time. When you go from oh fuck to okay, you go from being fixated on the way you are convinced the world should or shouldn't be, but never will be, to being ready to deal with being ready to deal with the world the way it is. And it says action step. Think back to the worst encounter you had in the past year with a colleague or a loved one. Mentally walk yourself through the steps from oh fuck to okay, as if you're reliving the incident. Then try the same technique the next time you fall into an argument with the same individual. Okay, that's it. That's the chapter. And then the next chapter is number 4, rewire yourself to listen. Life is mostly a matter of perception and more often misperception. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna stop. If y'all watch this through and you want me to speak on what I'm reading, let me know. But I didn't want it to be too long a video, and I wanted it to be more importantly the book's content. So yeah, that's it. I highly recommend this book though.